Hey guys, today I'm sharing with you another recipe that is no flour, no sugar, and no dairy. I've definitely been trying to create a lot of recipes that are either low in gluten or low carb, and definitely low in sugar. And this one is one of my favorites so far. It is my chocolate banana muffins. In a bowl here, I'm gonna add in 2 bananas. These are, again, really nice and ripe, not overripe, but if you do have that, just go ahead and use whatever bananas you have. Just some nice bananas. And again, I'm using my whisk here to whisk this up. If you haven't seen my last sugar, no dairy, no flour recipe, I'll leave a link below and above as well. That's where I made my coconut, kind of like a sweetbread muffin. But I love chocolate, so I had to find and make something that had chocolate in it. So I'm using a whisk, and I'm going to whisk this together until, we want that banana to become really smooth as possible. So break it up as best as you can. If you do have a little lumps, that's going to be fine. And as I incorporate and as I add my wet ingredients, I'm going to keep mixing. So now I'm going to add in my coconut oil to this, and as I add my coconut oil, I'm going to mix it in. Again, we're just breaking up that banana. I am using refined coconut oil because I'm trying not to get too much of a strong coconut flavor. I want this to be as similar to a chocolate cake or a chocolate cupcake as possible. So I went ahead and added my coconut oil. I will have all the amounts listed below in the description box for you. I'm going to give that a mix. Trying to mix up that banana, trying to smoothen and cream that banana. And now I'm going to add in my vanilla. I'm adding in about 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of vanilla. I love a lot of vanilla flavor, and if I'm going to add vanilla, I might as well get some flavor out of it. Now I'm going to add in my 2 large eggs. If you want to make this without eggs, you can, of course, use applesauce to substitute for the eggs. Or if you want to make like a flax egg or something like that, you definitely can. Mixing that in, again, after all of my wet ingredients. So I break up that banana as best as I can. Now it may still have some chunks in there, and that's fine, but as best as I can possibly get it. On our stovetop here, I have a small saucepan with some water that I have coming up to a boil. That's about 1/2 cup of water. Just let that come up to a boil, and let's continue mixing our ingredients. To this, I'm adding in some baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. We're going to add that in. I will have all the amounts listed below for you. And we're going to also add in our cocoa powder. Now, if you want to make sure that this is completely gluten-free, you have to, I know Hershey's cocoa powder has gluten-free cocoa powder. And our flour that we're going to be using for this is coconut flour. We're going to add in our cocoa powder and our coconut flour to this. 1/2 cup of coconut flour. And you want about 3 to 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder. 4 tablespoons gives you a really deep, dark, rich chocolate muffin. If you're not a huge fan of like deep, dark chocolate, 3 tablespoons of cocoa will be fine. I'm using a spatula at this point to start to incorporate those ingredients together. And as you can see, there are still some banana chunks in there, but that is fine. So I've mixed that. Now I'm going to get my hot water. You want to measure out 1/2 cup of that hot water. Be careful, of course, it is hot, it is boiling. I put a little bit more than 1/2 cup when I put it into my saucepan, because as this is boiling, it will evaporate a little bit, and you want to be very carefully stir this in at first, because any of that hot water can splash up on you, of course. So just be careful, and then we're just going to mix that in until it is fully incorporated. Take about 30 seconds and just make sure that it is fully incorporated. You want to also make sure that your oven is already preheated to 350 degrees. And I have a cupcake tray that is lined with cupcakes. Now, and originally I just had my daughter line my whole tray with, I just told her, can you please line this with some liners? So she did line it with all. But this is just going to make about 9 muffins or so, 9 to 10, depending on how much you, how big you make your muffins. But one big ice cream scoop or one normal size ice cream scoop should give you about 9 muffins, which I find is great because one of these alone will satisfy that chocolate craving, that sugar craving that you have, and it just works great because it is such a much more healthier alternative than, you know, my favorite chocolate chip cookie, which I used to have almost every single day. I will leave that down below in case, you know, you feel like you do want to have a cheat day. So this is going to pop in my oven here at 350 for about 20 minutes. That is it. I mean, let it cool and enjoy it. It's really good with a cup of coffee. I typically like to have something chocolate with my cup of coffee, which has become a problem, obviously. And that's it, guys. It is delicious. It tastes like a chocolate cake. The inside, the texture of it, for it being gluten-free or no flour, I mean, it is amazing. It's amazing. It's delicious. I hope that you give it a try. I will have all the amounts listed below in the description box for you. If you try and you enjoy it, let me know, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.